When it comes your time to go, ain't no good way to go about it. Credit for that, Mike Cooley of the Drive-By Truckers from the song Shut Your Mouth and Get Your Ass on the Plane. With everything else going on these days in the world, including the oh my god Omicron variant, we do well to listen to Mike again for just a moment or two. See, he goes on to tell us that ain't no use in thinking about it. You'll just drive yourself insane. Nice little nugget for a new installment of our completely made up and totally not going to help you DBT therapy. Once again, Mike's talking directly to us, but not about us. In this case, he's examining loss on a number of levels, including but not limited to physical death. In particular, he's examining the death of one Ronny Manzant of Lynyrd Skynyrd fame, who died in a plane crash in 1977 at the tender age of 29. Rest in peace, Ronnie, and the others. So, outside of the obvious history of the crash, there's plenty of lore and legend that has Ronnie, among others, seeming to predict his own tragic end. Any amount of searching, the man or the band will generate results that border on cryptic premonitions. A lesson that might well tell us we ought to trust our own instincts a bit more than perhaps we do. Trouble is, our instincts are often out of sync with reality. Experiencing an overwhelming sense of dread these days is considered fashionable. Everyone's afraid of something. So much so, we have a word, phobophobia, to describe our irrational fear of irrational fear, or something like that. Add to that the fear-porn jacuzzi of internet news, social media, and people in politics, and it's no wonder people are walking around with a 1,000-mile stare and driving alone in their own vehicles with masks on. I know. It's easy to pick on the coof. Fact is, this was going on well before you or I ever heard of COVID. See, Mike would have us consider this question. How much is enough, you ask? But he ducks the question by saying, I'll ask the man when I get a chance. All I know right now is there's somewhere else I'm supposed to be. Isn't that us too? I guess that's our cue, friend. And Clever Bastard reminds us that it doesn't have to make sense, and we don't have to feel good about it when it's time to go, or when it's simply time to get going. Sitting around and waiting isn't the right medicine for us. I'd have you consider that it's simply another form of slow-rolling disaster. Prime example, I have a good friend who lost patience trying to drink himself to death. Well, he just celebrated 3 years of sobriety and no longer lives in fear. How about that? My guess is that the price of being sober is being scared out of your mind. He might have a point, but better to take our chances and live with some clarity, I'd say. I mean, maybe FDR was right about fear being the only thing we need to fear. Perhaps our phobophobia isn't so irrational after all. As always, friend, I need to pause here to remind you that in addition to hitting the like and the subscribe button, I'm not telling you what to do. Not giving you advice, not telling you to do anything. All I'm doing is asking some likely rhetorical questions and providing likely even more questionable answers. I'm leaving the decision making up to you, and I'll leave you with Mike's final thought on this matter so that you can choose for yourself. Dead is dead, and it ain't no different than walking around if you ain't living. Living in fear is just another way of dying before your time. You got my take and Mike's. What say you?